Okay, this recording is going to focus on how to calculate the quantity to dispense. So we do have a formula for this one. This is part of the reason why we needed to make sure we were clear on the terms that go with these types of calculations. Remember that the dose is the amount of medication to be taken at one single time. The frequency is how often that dose is taken, and duration refers to how long the order has been given for. So in this example, 1 is our dose, BID is my frequency, and times 10D, that stands for times 10 days, that is going to be my duration. So, dose, frequency, duration, which equates to 1. And there's my formula. We're just multiplying these together. BID means how many times a day or in a 24-hour period? 2. And my duration is times 10D. That means for 10 days. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 10 is 20. So we would need to dispense 20 pills to satisfy that order. Okay, our next example, we're going to use a liquid. I have promethazine with codeine syrup, 6.25 milligrams per 10 milliliters. The directions read for 1 teaspoon PO QID times 4D. So again, we're going to use that formula of dose times frequency times duration. So my dose in this case, we're going to go ahead and convert that to milliliters. So how many mLs is 1 teaspoon? 5 milliliters, right? What is the frequency on this order? How often is this dose taken? QID, 4 times a day, correct? And then lastly, the duration here is times 4 days. So our equation would set up like so. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 4 is that is 80. So we need 80 milliliters to satisfy that prescription order. Let's look at another. All right, if I wanted to calculate the quantity of this order, I have Zoloft 50 milligram tab, 1 POQD times 1 month. So what is my frequency here? I'm sorry, what is my dose? The amount of medication to be taken at one single time. My dose is going to be 1. Now, what is my frequency? How often is this dose to be given? QD, which means every day. It's understood to just be once within a 24-hour day. So that is going to be 1 for our frequency. And then our duration is listed as 1 month. So as stated in a previous video, in pharmacy, unless it is a 28-day pack of birth control pills or hormone replacement therapy or an injectable that is only available on a 28-day type of supply, then we are going to assume that 1 month means 30 days. That is the general assumption for a month in pharmacy terms. And that's just because every other month has 31 days, and the months that don't generally have 30. So it kind of works out to an average. And so that is why we tend to use 30 for our 1 month number. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 30 is 30. Which means we would need to dispense 30 pills to satisfy that order. Okay, in this example, we have a bottle of diazepam, 5 milligrams per 5 ml. This bottle contains 500 milliliters. We have an RX order that calls for 20 milligrams of diazepam, 5 milligram per 5 ml, prior to the procedure, and 10 milligrams of diazepam, 5 milligram per 5 ml, after the procedure. So let's see how we can work this out. So in stock, it comes as 5 milligrams per 5 ml. I like to start with what I have. My order calls for 20 milligrams. So I'm trying to find out what volume it will take to achieve that dose. So I have this equation. We're going to cross multiply. 5 times 20 is 100. And if we cross multiply the other direction, we're going to get 5 times x, which will give us 5x. That means I have to divide this by 5. 5 goes into 100 like 20 times, I think. Yes, 20 times. So it's going to take 20 milliliters to satisfy the prior to the procedure part of the order. Now we need a different strength afterward. So again, I'm going to start with what I have in stock, 5 milligrams over the 5 ml. And I'm setting that equal to the 10 milligrams. And I'm looking for that volume. So there's the second equation for this one. And again, we'll cross multiply. 5 times 10, that is 50. When I cross multiply the other direction, I get another 5x. That means that this needs to be divided by 5. 5 goes into 50 10 times. So I need 10 milliliters for that portion of the order. These two things must be added together, right? Because I need this prior to the procedure and this after the procedure. So in order to fill this order the way it has been prescribed, we would need to dispense 30 milliliters. Okay, in this example, we have an RX that calls for Soma, which is a narcotic muscle relaxer in the state of Louisiana. It is 350 milligram tablet. The order calls for 1 PO, TID, and HS. So again, we're looking at the quantity to dispense. And remember that formula is dose times frequency times duration. And I did not put the duration on this. Let's say it is a 30-day supply. Sorry about that. All right. So let's say we're going to do this for 30 days. So what is my dose? The amount of medication to be taken at one single time. 1. What is my frequency? You may be inclined to look at this and think 3, but do not forget and HS. So we have to add those two together. 3 plus how many times do we go to bed in a 24-hour day? Hopefully just once. So that's going to make our frequency 4. And then our duration is the 30 days. So our equation becomes 1 times 4, which is 4. 4 times 30, which is 120. So it would take 120 tablets to satisfy this order for 30 days. I hope that this video has helped you with how to calculate quantity to dispense.